What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Madden 16 PS4. Do me a favor, take a moment, like button, subscribe button, criticism in the comment section. Twitter shutdown. Safety is my username. The number one most requested, either why don't you do it or can you do it, is Madden Ultimate Team. And to be honest with you, I've never really been into Madden Ultimate Team, but if that's what you guys want to see, that's what I'm going to do. This is what I've compiled in about 3 days of playing Madden Ultimate Team. Not real heavy, maybe just a couple hours a day. Probably the most I've played Madden though in a while. I'm going to start off just going through the roster. Since the 88 overall, if you can't see. I'm going to go through some polls I had, and also obviously some players I had to buy. We'll start off with the quarterback. I did have to buy the mid-range Andrew Luck, not the extremely expensive 99, but not the base card, the 93 behind him, Matt Stafford. And then my kicker takes over third-string duties. Henry Hinoski was a pull that I had. I've elected to use him as my fullback. Burton and Morris back him up. My second wide receiver, Victor Cruz, who I did pull, as well as Nate Washington. Come over to my halfbacks, which are a little expensive in the auction, so I'm actually still using Todd Gurley. This is the recent addition of Todd Gurley. I have them both, the 70 overall they gave you early in the year and the 88 overall they just gave us this week. David Johnson is my halfback. Really big fan of David Johnson. For 87, this guy flies, and as we all know, speed really matters in Madden. 83 overall, Alfred Morris is the backup. Benjamin and Johnson make up the 6 wide receiver set. I had to purchase T.Y. Hilton. I did pull Deshaun Jackson. Up here in my linemen, you take a look at Costanzo and Ferguson. They were both purchases. Vasquez was a pull. Uhart, Upati, and Vasquez. I believe I did have to buy Uhart, but Upati and Vasquez were pulls. Unger, one of my better pulls. Mack, so-so, but I did pull him. This is so far the best card I pulled, 91 overall. Linder, Warford, who I tried to auction like 1,000 times and can't get rid of this behind him. Vasquez just rounds the circle. Andre Smith was a pull, not a bad one at that. So was DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Warford, we know, is in the rotation. Over here, we've got my fullback / tight end, Casey, who's very fast, catches just about everything I throw his way, so he's been pretty golden. Zach Miller and Joel Reeson back him up. Defensively, probably my second best pull, my best defensive pull by far, is this 90 overall David Harris. Behind him, D'Qwell Jackson, and then Anthony is my backup. I did purchase Julius Peppers. Wesley Woodyard was a pull I had. So was Buckner, but he's the low-end Buckner, not really all that reasonable. Bethea, another really good pull. Obviously, you know, as a Colt, I'm going to keep him there. Did have to purchase Bernard Pollard. Did have to purchase Johnson, who was starting for a very long time until I pulled Jarius Byrd. Obviously, you can see Johnson, who backs up over there. Captain Mullerlin, I believe, came in my initial set, but don't hold me to that. Jerry Hughes was purchased that I made. So was Robert Mathis, who no longer starts. And down on the line, I did purchase the Corey Redding. Buckner backs him up. Kyle Williams was a purchase of mine. Jabal Shear was not. I'm amazed he's so high in this game because he's really not that great of a player. Side note, I believe I own the cleats he has wearing in that picture. Big Dan Williams is my second string defensive tackle. Also obviously starts sometimes. Buckner backs him up. Campbell was a purchase I had to make because I think he's a great player, but he jumps offside a lot in this game, way too often. Joe Hayden is a purchase. He's my outside corner, and you should all know by now, Vontae Davis is my number one corner. I had to purchase him. Mullerlin backs him up. My kick returners are going to be Roca and Vinatieri. Vinatieri I did have to buy. And then Patrick Peterson, who I purchased, is running back my kick. So, the problems I have with Madden Ultimate Team. Number one, supply and demand. I expect cards that have some value. Some of these cards have extreme value. Number two, when you play online, it's difficult to be competitive unless you've sunk a lot of money in. And God knows where the children that play this mode get that money. It's probably their parents, but they make it very difficult to be competitive online. It's also not a game really that lends itself to fair play to a degree. I mean, as we've talked about, all the Madden problems transfer over into this mode, except in this mode they actually cost you money to play, so it's a little bit devastating and detrimental to your wallet, although I've never invested a dime in this, nor would I ever want to. And then lastly, the tasks that they give you to earn the cards are pretty mundane, repetitive, and boring. Essentially, here's a scenario, no one has timeouts but you, march down the field or hold a team off, we'll give you 1,000 points and a cookie. I really don't like that concept, but again, I'm willing to do it for you guys. I will be back in the week with more content. Appreciate you checking this video out.